Hey everybody, Moarhammer here. I've got another battle report for you, and this is a pretty good one again. It's 100 pools of South Coast GT comp against Tomb Kings. It's another one against the same Tomb King player as before, but he's got a few changes in his armies, and so have I. So I'll jump straight into it right after the army breakdown. So here is a picture of deployments, and as you can see, it's the Tomb Kings against Nurgle. Now the objective, we are playing the second mission out of the South Coast GT comp pack, which basically there are 6 objectives on the board. You'll see the little wooden tokens. If you split the board up into six equal quadrants, there's an objective marker in the middle of each one. So there's 3 on my side, 3 on his side, and you need a unit with at least 4 or more wounds to be able to claim that, and heroes cannot claim. That's basically the aim of the game. You score 1 point for every one that you hold at the end of each battle round, and there's also this weird thing where Nagash laughs and throws wind at you, or Nagash farts at you at the end of every battle round, and you take more damage if you're in range of a objective. So that's what's happening. So on my side, you've got my 6 blight drone, my plague drones. Then in that forest, you've got Epidemius and the Plague Claw catapults. Then in the middle, I've got 10 Chaos Warriors, my Morbidex Twiceborn, the Sorcerer Lord, and 5 Blight Kings. And then on the far right, you've got my Plague Bearers. Now you may notice that I haven't deployed my Nurglings, so I've got 15 bases of Nurglings that I'm deploying as part of Nurgle's Deluge, which is a formation in the Quest for Galmaraz book. Basically what that formation does, it allows me to bring the Nurglings in as rain, basically, and I place them anywhere on the board up to 3 inches away of any opponent. So it's a really interesting little thing that allows you to bring Nurglings on basically anywhere and charge anything you want. I mean, they can charge anything, they are Nurglings, so they are rubbish. But I was really eager to try it out because I love the concept of it. So, on his side then, we've got, starting on the right-hand side, we've got a unit of 6 snakes, which had me terrified from the last game, so I was really hoping to not have to face them too soon. And the Vampire Lord is just with them. Then in the middle there, you've got a unit of 20 Bowman Archer with a Necromancer. Then the other side, on that hill, he's got a Bone Giant, and then he's got Arkhan the Black, one of the Mortarks, riding his Mortark ridey thing. So if you think that's quite a small army, you're right. He's got quite a large summoning pool. He's got 15 Tomb Guard, 2 Morghast Archai, and 2 Morghast Harbingers. So he's got a big summoning pool, which Arkhan the Black can bring in, which I was a bit scared about, but let's just see how it goes. So, I did finish deploying. I believe he finished deploying first, actually. Yeah, he finished deploying first. He had quite a small army. And he wanted me to go first, which was okay by me, so I put my plan into action. I moved my Plague Drones into that hill on the left-hand side, just to clean the cover. I moved Epidemius through that forest close enough to be able to get the Locust ability in range. I put Inspiring Presence on my Chaos Warriors in the middle there, in case he shot them with anything. Then I moved my Blight Kings, the Sorcerer Lord, and Morbidex onto that hill just to get a bit of cover if I needed it. And then I moved all those Plague Bearers on the right-hand side into that forest, and they were not going to move anywhere. They were sitting on an objective quite happily, and they were probably not going to do anything for the rest of the game, which would be fine. So, you also notice at the far end, in the middle of his board, you've got a bunch of Nurglings. So I had an entire unit of 9 Nurglings plop down right next to his Skeleton Archers. My aim here was to just get rid of them ASAP. They're with a Necromancer, so I can hopefully be able to take him out shortly as well. I was going to catapult the archers, then charge on the Nurglings, and hopefully get Epidemius' tally right up as soon as possible. That was the plan. So, we go into the shooting phase. My catapult aims, takes aim, shoots, and splat. Is able to do really well. Kills 7 or 8 skeleton archers, which is fantastic. So, there's already a bunch of them down. And so I charge straight in with my Nurglings like this, with nothing else to happen. So, I charge in like this. This is the first combat I do, and I'm able to do pretty well again. I kill another 6 or 7 archers with just my Nurglings. Again, they're pretty rubbish, but there's a lot of them. Just this unit's getting like 45 attacks or something, which I find hilarious. So yeah, they're down to 5 men now, which means their battle shock should be pretty crippling. That'd be great. That's exactly what happens. He doesn't do anything of note back. I think he maybe does a wound, which I automatically heal in the battle shock phase, and then he rolls more than what he needs to on the battle. He rolls like a 3 or 4 in his battle shock, and the unit pops. That's fantastic. I've got 15 wounds on my tally already up, and that's a shooting unit down, and a big, really difficult to shift unit of Nurglings right in the centre of his board, and I can start claiming that objective from next turn. They can't claim the turn they arrive. So we go into his turn, and Arkhan does his thing and summons a whole bunch of stuff. It's just rubbish. Summons 2 Morghast Harbingers and 2 Morghast Archai on the left-hand flank, ready to go after those plague drones. Oh, he also, I forgot to mention this earlier, he had 3 Sepulchral Stalkers, however you pronounce that, which he's brought in the bottom left-hand corner. You can just about see them. He was ready to go after the Catapult or Epidemius with them, which had me a bit worried, so I did not know how good they were or what they would do. So, he also, his Necromancer that was in the middle, near the Nurglings, summons 5 Tomb Guard. They're just behind Arkhan there. You can see them in the middle of the board. Other than that, his movement, he moved Arkhan across to try and hopefully take care of those Nurglings, I think. The Tomb Giant moved forward to try and get into the combat with the Plague Drones as well. His Snakes move on to the objective on the hill, but kind of stay where they are. He wasn't really sure what he wanted to go with them yet, because I'd placed my Blight Kings and Plague Bearers, so no matter which he charged, I'd be able to counter-charge with the other. That was kind of my plan. Here's a better picture of the stuff coming on. So he's got his Sepulchral Stalkers and the Harbingers and Archai. As we go to the shooting phase, and the Stalkers take aim at Epidemius, and are able to plink a single wound off by staring at him angrily, with furrowed brows. And they charge straight in. They waste no time in getting in there. They rolled a 9 or a 10, which is exactly what they needed, which is rubbish. And then these units slam into the Plague Drones. Fortunately, he does fail with the Harbingers, so the Archai and the Bone Giant both get in, but at least it wasn't all of them, so I still felt like I had a chance here. And that's all I asked for. So he attacks with his Archai first, I believe, and he's able to do really well. He kills a whole Plague Drone, putting 2 wounds on another, which is pretty good going. So I pile straight in, before I take any more wounds from the Bone Giant or anything, and I'm able to do pretty rubbish, actually. I fluff my rolls quite bad here. I put a single wound onto the Archai and 2 wounds onto the Bone Giant, which isn't great. So then he goes over here with his Stalkers, but again, I think he maybe underestimated how good Epidemius is at just taking wounds. He's got in the forest. He's got a 3-up save and a 5-up disgustingly resilient. So he's pretty sturdy. So he does nothing to me, and then he attacks back with his Bone Giants, who turns out are pretty nasty, and he smashes another one apart, puts 3 wounds onto another. So those guys had me quite terrified. Then attack with Epidemius, who turns around and embeds his sword into a Stalker's face, which is great. I don't think he was expecting Epidemius to do quite so well here, and neither was I, to be honest. He rolled really well, which is great. So, we go into the initiative roll-off, and I'm able to win it, which is great. So no double turn to him. So I do some stuff. I bring in my other 2 units of 3 Nurglings. I bring one in right at the back of the Necromancer, within 3 inches of the Necromancer. They were just going to go mug him, take his lunch money, and leave him for dead. The other unit I put over to the right-hand side. The idea was they were going to charge the snakes, and where they were, I was hoping that he wouldn't be able to get too many snakes around to kill them, and the Nurglings could just hold them there for a turn. It's not very likely, but I was that was the kind of idea. I also put Inspiring Presence on the Chaos Warriors and start moving them across the left-hand side to help the Plague Drones out. And then my Blight Kings and Morbidex move further up towards the that hill. I do cast Mystic Shield on the Blight Kings, just in case his snakes decide to come and have a chat. And then I move all my Nurgling bases around that objective in the middle, which would be ideal. So, all my shooting is null and void. I think I missed my catapult. He hasn't got very many good targets left with it anyway. So there's nothing to happen. So I charge in here with my Nurglings. Again, I was hoping he wouldn't be able to pile an attack with any more than one. And then I also pile in over here with my Nurglings against the Necromancer. That should be fun. So I do attack here with my Plague Drones first, as you might expect. And they do a bit better. I put another 3 wounds onto an Archai. Not enough to kill one, but they're getting there, which is what it is. And then Epidemius gets attacked by his Stalkers. Again, they fluff completely and aren't able to do a single thing. I think these guys are blind or something. So I attack with my Nurglings over here against his Necromancer. Able to put 4 wounds onto him. Not quite kill him, he had 5 wounds. Didn't quite get him, it was so close. So then he piles in with his Stalkers, and I did misjudge it quite badly. They've got, after with a 3-inch pile, they've got some 2-inch range attacks, which I didn't realise. So they are able to fairly easily polish off all the Nurglings. They got +1 attack from the Vampire Lord's command ability too, which was rubbish. Then I attack back with Epidemius, and again, he does really well. He kills a whole Stalker and puts another one down by 2 wounds, which is wonderful. So then he attacks with his Archai, and he actually rolls quite badly himself here. He's only able to put 2 wounds onto one. But then I'm out of things to attack with, so he attacks with his Bone Giant, who turns out, again, does really well, and he's able to smash another drone out of the air and put 3 wounds onto another. So they really are circling the drain now. Not much I can do about it either, which is kind of rubbish, because I like my Plague Drones. And I get sad when people kill them. Anywho, so we're going to do his turn again. And this is what happens. Arkhan is again quite easily able to summon some stuff. He summons the remaining 10 Tomb Guard. So that's them all summoned now, which is okay. The fact they're all summoned means that there's not too much more to worry about. So everything he's got is on the board. So at least there's that. His Harbingers come up beside the Plague Drones. I expect he's planning to charge them and wipe them out. The Snakes, once more, kind of stay where they are, which I'm okay with. Again, I'm terrified of them, so if they're staying there, that's absolutely A-okay by me. And then he also moves Arkhan forward to, I think he was planning to charge the Nurglings with them to get them off that objective. So, we go into his charge phase. There's no shooting to be had. And he charges into the Nurglings with both Arkhan and the Tomb Guard. He also charges his Harbingers over here to these Plague Drones, and those guys were pretty much dead. So, however, this is the combat he does first with his Stalker, and he's able to do nothing to Epidemius. So I do pile him with an attack with my Plague Drones. I'm able to kill one of the Archai, and I don't do a wound to the other, but one of them is now down, which is perfect. Just having that one less running around after these Plague Drones dies is huge. So then he attacks with Arkhan, as you might expect, and he's able to do pretty well. He kills 2 or 3 Nurgling bases, 2 I think, and then puts 2 floating wounds onto another base. And I moved him from there. I was just thinking, if I can get Morbidex into this guy, he should have a decent fight, and he's my best chance of killing Arkhan, and it'd be great to get rid of him. So my Nurglings then pile in an attack, able to put 2 wounds onto Arkhan, which is hilarious, and I'm able to kill 3 Tomb Guard. 3! They roll out of the box. These guys are mad. They are furious at these bony people. So yep, they manage to kill. They do really well, and then not to be out. So he attacks over here with his Necromancer, It doesn't do anything. And then in return, my Nurglings are able to smash him right in his stupid face, and that's wonderful. So my Nurglings are really doing quite well. Over here, I think his Arkhan attacks first, and is able to kill, put 2 wounds onto that last plague drone. Then Epidemius goes, and is able to put only another single wound onto the Stalker. That's fine, it doesn't matter, he's not going anywhere. Then he piles in with his Bone Giant to attack, is able to put another 2 wounds onto the plague drone, before deleting him entirely. So yeah, the Bone Giant managed to delete that last plague drone, so he managed to get rid of them even without the Morghast Harbingers, and that is very sad indeed. So we then go over here with his Tomb Guard, who are able to kill another base and put a wound onto another, which if I'm lucky should be able to just heal straight away. So yeah, that's the end of that. So we go to the initiative roll-off once again, and I do win it again, which is fantastic. I feel like I'm trying to keep up with him, but as long as he's not getting a double turn, I'm all right. So I put Inspiring Presence and Mystic Shield onto the Chaos Warriors on the left-hand side. I believe I am up now to a pretty hefty... I might actually have hit my 21... Yeah, I hit my 21 Epidemius tally now, which is fantastic. So everyone's got +1 save, so those Warriors now sporting a 2-up save, which is huge. So I push them forward, hopefully going to charge the Bone Giants, or the Stalker, or whatever I can get hold of. Morbidex rushes down off that hill to try and slam into Arkhan and take his head off. Other than that, I kind of don't do a whole lot of movement. The Nurglings that just killed the Necromancer run away from the Winged Vampire Lord chasing them, because they don't really fancy that fight. Other than that, everything kind of stays where it is. So then we go into the shooting phase, and the Plague Claw Catapult takes careful aim and smashes that remaining Archive right in the face, and takes 5 wounds off him, I think, killing him entirely, which is perfect. I'm really happy to have that unit out of the way, because they are a nightmare. And I've only got to kill the Harbingers, which is no easy task in itself. So, with the shooting phase over... Morbidex does use his tongue attack on Arkhan, and I think it plinks another wound off him, which is wonderful. So we go to the charge phase. My Chaos Warriors here charge the Bone Giant, and Morbidex slams into Arkhan, and I was really looking forward to this fight. So it is the one I go with first, and I'm able to do pretty well. I put 8 wounds total onto Arkhan, which is fantastic, because we've only got 3 left now. Maybe my Nurglings can finish the job. That would be wonderful. So he attacks with his Bone Giant first. And I believe he isn't able to do a single thing. I'm now sporting a 2-up save base. He's really struggling to get through the armour, which is wonderful. So I return fire with Epidemius, and I'm able to kill the remaining Stalker, which is fantastic. So now my tally is hopefully going to stick around where it is. I am, again, this guy's sporting a 2-up save and cover, so yay. So then we have Arkhan, who attacks. He does go straight for the Nurglings. There's no point attacking Morbidex from him right now, because he's now got a 2-up save, rerolling 1s from Oracular Visions on him. You can see on his little base there, he's got the marker. So Arkhan attacks the Nurglings, is able to kill one and put 2 wounds onto another, which isn't bad going. So I attack with the Chaos Warriors. They pile in all around the Giants, and don't do too badly. I think they will put 1 or 2 wounds onto him, which isn't great, but I'll take it. So then the Nurglings pile in and put another 2 wounds onto Arkhan. So close to killing him with Nurglings. It would have been glorious. But unfortunately I don't. So, the Warriors, sorry, they put 5 wounds total onto the Bone Giant. But yeah, so we go to his turn. And this is what happened. This is what it looks like. Again, the snakes stay put onto their objective, which is fantastic for me. They're claiming that objective, scoring the points, but they're not murdering my army, so I'm okay with that. His Harbingers fly around the outside there. Again, they're aiming straight for Epidemius. I think they're just trying to get rid of that tally. The Tomb Guard that were by the hill, summoned last turn, moved back towards the objective to try and claim it. And the Flying Vampire Lord moves across towards the Nurglings with Arkhan. So they're looking to aim. They're aiming to get that. So he has basically his magic is negligible. He doesn't really do a whole lot. His shooting he's got no shooting left. So he goes straight to the charge phase, and the Harbingers here slam straight into Epidemius. And I was a bit nervous here because I knew how deadly these guys could be. And the Vampire Lord smashes into the Nurglings here. I think Arkhan did heal one wound. I think he heals like a wound every hero phase or something like that. So he heals a wound. Vampire Lord slams into the Nurglings to take some outs. I'm a bit nervous, but hey-ho, I'll take it. So he attacks with I think maybe Arkhan first. I think he goes straight for the Nurglings again, and is able to kill a whole base, putting a single wound onto another. So they were nearly out of the picture. So I attack with Epidemius first, and I'm able to put 4 wounds onto one of the Harbingers, which is perfect. And then he attacks with his Bone Giants. Again, doesn't do too well, only puts a single wound onto a Chaos Warrior. Still sporting a 2-op save, so they're really, really rock solid right now, which is lovely. Big fan of that. So then Morbidex attacks. I attack with Morbidex, and he swings his scythe, and boom! Smashes Arkhan in his stupid, bony, sorcerous face. And that's wonderful. So, yep, even though I really overestimated his ability in combat, it's great to have his general out of the way, and it's great to have Arkhan down. Even though he couldn't summon anything anymore. He's done his job at this point, I guess. Either way, he's out of the picture now, and that's wonderful. So he piles in with his Vampire Lord, and is able to kill that last Nurgling base. And that's okay. It gets rid of that scoring objective there. That's the scoring unit there, sorry. Which is kind of rubbish, but it is what it is. At least I've got those remaining Nurglings just by the side there to hopefully do some extra stuff. Then I attack with my Chaos Warriors. They pile in and beat the Bone Giant to death, which is wonderful. And I like to think they stole his skull. So then he attacks with his Morghast Harbingers, even. But he actually does really, really rubbish. I think he maybe does a single wound or 2 to Morbidex, which is not good. So, that's the combat's over, we go into the initiative roll-off. And I win it again, which is fantastic. So, I think we're going to the last turn now, and there's a total of no double turns. No, this isn't the last turn, sorry, no. But we've had a total of no double turns yet, which is wonderful. So, I move some stuff around. I move my Blight Kings off that hill towards the objective just to try and claim it. I put Mystic Shield onto the Plague Bearers in the woods, just so that if the snakes did charge, they'd have a 2-op save where they're standing. The Nurglings on the backboard edge come around into that forest just to claim the objective. If I can kill that Vampire Lord, that should be great. And then my Chaos Warriors come towards the Harbingers. So you may be wondering why there's one missing. That's to do with Nagash and his crazy Death Wind thing. That ended up killing one of his Harbingers, which is great. Big fan. There's only one of those to deal with now, and that's wonderful. So that's all my movement. In the shooting phase, my catapult aims dead for the Tomb Guard and is able to kill 4, and that's great. Then in the shooting phase, Morbidex also shoots at the Vampire Lord with his tongue, and is able to, I think he plinks a single wound off, which is perfect. And then I charge in with, firstly, my Chaos Warriors over here, who attack, that's the combat I do first, that's the one I'm worried about the most. And I also do 3 wounds to the Harbinger, which isn't great. I would have rather killed it entirely, but I'll take what I have. Then his Vampire Lord piles into Morbidex and does a single wound. That's all he does, which is great. So there, he's not going anywhere fast. Morbidex attacks back straight away and beats him to death with Arkhan's skull. So that Vampire Lord is taken out now, which is great. So that's out of the way now, so those Nurglings can now score that objective with relative impunity. So he attacks with his Harbingers next, or his remaining Harbinger, and he's able to kill 2 warriors. So again, does pretty well considering they've got a 3-up save where they're standing. So we go into his turn, and there's not a whole lot. He decides to finally make a move with his snakes, which that's fine. He pushes them straight towards the plague bearers. Not much I can do about that, but he has still got them far enough back that if he fails a charge, he'll be able to score the objective. That's what he's planning to do. There's Tomb Guard also. He gets another 2 or 3 Tomb Guard back from the banner. So there's that. So we go into the combats first. He isn't able to do anything. I think he's able to kill a single warrior of mine with his Harbinger, and he gets then beaten to death by the warriors, which is perfect. So that thing is now out of the way. I don't have to worry about him anymore, and that's all I'd ever wanted. So we go to my turn. I move my warriors on the left-hand side into that hill in case he got anything to charge with. Morbidex runs towards those Tomb Guard in case I can get a long bomb charge and try and take them out. And then the Blight Kings move onto the edge of that hill. I do cast... I think I cast Demonic Power onto the Blight Kings, so they're hopefully going to... If he charges them with the snakes, they should be able to put decent damage. And then I also put Oracular Visions on the Plague Bearers in case they charge them. So they both got a bit of a boost to their save. So we go to into his turn, and his snakes come racing straight at me, the Blight Kings, and there's basically nothing else to happen, so they slam straight into the Blight Kings, and this should be a good fight. Again, I'm sporting a 2-up save where I stand, so it's it's pretty brutal to be honest. And he piles in, he attacks. He isn't able to do a single wound to any of the Plague Bearers. He rolls like absolute pants. I felt I felt guilty. It was that bad. And I make my saves of what the couple of wounds I get through I make. So I attack back, and I'm able to smash a single knight in his face. So 1 dies, but no one goes anywhere from Battle Shock. And there you have it. There is the end of the game. It is another victory to the Legions of Nurgle. I score about 13-8, I believe was the final score. Something like that. A really, really good game. Really enjoyed trying out Nurgle's Deluge for the first time. It's been an idea of mine for a while, but hasn't been available in comp systems yet, so it was great fun to try that out. It'd be great against War Machines. I'm sure they'd be really annoyed if you did that to them. Morbidex, he's had another pretty victorious game. I'm really a big fan of Morbidex. He seems to do a lot of damage, which is one of the reasons I like him. But I don't think he needs any more explanation than that. I think, again, getting the tally up with Epidemius was a massive issue in this game, so I got it up so fast, killing that big unit of skeleton archers. And once you've got the tally up, once it hit that the +1 save, the same turn my Chaos Warriors hit the Bone Giant, that's where the game really swung in my favour. I took down the Bone Giant. He couldn't hurt Epidemius. He couldn't hurt my warriors, and those arcane constructs at that point just kind of folded into nothingness. So that was kind of where the game went wrong for him. I also think leaving his snakes kind of at the back there, while I appreciate it was useful for him to capture the objective, they could be much better used killing my stuff before that tally goes up, at least. He did say at the end, obviously the mission probably required more scoring units. Simply the fact that I had more units that could kind of sit back and score. So like the Blight Kings and the Plague Bearers, they're really good at just staying back, scoring the points, and that's all they need to do. Whereas his army generally lacked that a little bit. He had very few scoring units, so he did say that was probably a bit of a weakness in the army, but I'm sure that'll be rectified next time we play. So, that's the end of the game. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel or like the video, and all the other things that I sometimes say at the end of my videos. So yeah, follow me on Twitter, more war games. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll see you again with another battle report very soon.